gang, it's Jeff Black again, your BFP Dream Builder from Beachmont Ford Performance, out here in the garage once more for a new episode of Garage Table Discussion. And this is our first episode of 2024 that required me to find a very special guest. I had to search high and wide and, pay travel expenses and everything to get this guest here. And that is Mrs. Dream Builder, aka my wife Carol. Thanks for joining us out here in the garage.
Happy to help.
All right. And Carol's out here today because we're going to discuss some items that we carry in our vehicles for emergency purposes. Now, this kind of came up because of winter, but emergencies can happen at any time, any kind of climate. But mainly we're talking here today about winter. We just had a couple of days ago now our very first, what I call accumulating snow here in the greater Cincinnati area. And as I was driving to work that day, I saw at least 4 accidents on the road. And, you may have the same thing happen to you. And, it would be helpful to have some items in your vehicle in case of an emergency for yourself or if you are trying to assist someone else. Right?
Right.
Now, Carol here has kind of become what I sort of jokingly call a YouTube research expert. She's researching all kinds of things on YouTube all the time for health stuff, exercise stuff, and in this case, she researched even other items that we might want to carry in our vehicles. We've always carried stuff, but she's even come up with a few new items. So we're going to talk about those items today. You may want to carry more in your vehicle. You may want to carry less or in between. Now, she drives a F-150 and it has a hard tonneau cover on the bed. So she carries all that stuff in the back of the bed. And then I drive a 2020 Fusion and I keep this stuff in the trunk. So depending on how much space you have may determine how much you carry. All right, so we are going to head over here to the other side of the garage and we're going to talk about this, aren't we?
All right.
All righty, let's head over here and check it out. Come on. All right, so here we are on the other side of the garage and we've got our setup here and we're going to show you some of the items that we're carrying. Now again, depending on the size of your vehicle and how much space you have, you may not be able to carry everything that we've got right here, but this is a setup that Carol carries in her F-150 and we'll start with the smaller box here. This actually has most of the, what I'll call first aid type stuff in it. And we're going to pull that out here, and we'll shove this over here out of the way a little bit first. And let Carol talk a little bit about what we've got in the first aid kit. All right, you're on the spot.
Okay. Well, obviously, the most important thing about a first aid kit is having a first aid kit. So we just picked up a multi-purpose.
Yeah, the multi-purpose. You can get this anywhere like Walmart or whatever, Amazon. This one actually I think came from Amazon.
It came from Amazon.
The other ones we've got came from I think Walmart.
Yeah.
But it's got all your basic stuff in it. It does have a pair of scissors, some gauze and Band-Aids and so forth, and some Neosporin. This is just your basic stuff. And if you, again, don't have a lot of space, maybe this is all you carry. But we do have some additional items in here. And let's talk about that.
I will say when I did my research, I did stick with the name brand as far as a first aid kit because some of the off brands, and we ran into this because we bought some off brands for some Band-Aids one time and they didn't stick. So that was the number one thing I saw. If you're purchasing something, if you buy an off brand and the Band-Aids don't stick with it, doesn't do you much good.
Right, and this happens to be Johnson & Johnson, and it wasn't like way expensive. I think this kit was like no more than $20.
I think so.
Yeah, so got basics right there.
Another thing that we had been carrying some bottled water, but then with the winter time, expanding contracting of the
freezing
with the temperatures, yes, and then even we carried in the summertime and what it did with the bottles. So with the research, we ended up doing some packets.
They're called emergency drinking water. And this happens to be a package that Carol put together. They come in individual packets and it's emergency drinking water. And you can carry just the little packets. And again, this is, you may not be stuck on the road forever, don't get me wrong, but we're kind of overkill here.
Well, this could be for wound cleaned up, it could be for anything, but Right. These do have a 5-year shelf life, and these were approved by the U.S. Coast Guard, so that's why I purchased those. Haven't tried them.
Yeah. But again, just emergency water in case you need it for whatever purpose. Okay. What else we got?
And then this morning I happened to think about, well, sometimes besides just water, you might need some electrolytes, depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I only have a couple electrolyte packets right now, and then we will be ordering some collapsible cups.
Collapsible cups.
Again, to be able to mix up something if we need it, because we thought, well, how are we going to mix that up? So without a collapsible cup in each one of our kits would be nice if we needed some electrolytes to be mixed somehow for a particular reason.
So again, those don't take up much space either. These are just little packets, electrolytes, and good to go there. What else we got in here? We've got some sanitizing, hand wipes, basic stuff. Another thing of alcohol wipes. We've got the waterproof tape in case you had to bandage someone's arm or your own arm or leg or whatever. You've got that. What do you got there?
Well, let's see. The hydrogen peroxide and is multi-purpose in case something happened. And I did find out when it says on it, keep it room temperature, but in doing some research, it says, again, you can keep it, it'll freeze at minus 29 degrees Fahrenheit. So for our area, we're pretty good. We can keep that in there.
Yeah. Now, you guys that are in Alaska or Dakotas or somewhere, that may not work for you. And?
Again, your standard first aid antibiotic.
Yep. And then, you got your, we do have, a pair of the medical type scissors here because you may have to cut bandages.
I think there's some in the kit. There's also some in the kit
there's
also.
Scissors in there again.
And just some extras that we had that we threw in there.
Yep. Now, one of the most important things that you might want to carry, and this is definitely something I do recommend for any emergency purposes. And I'm not going to unpackage the whole thing because I like to keep it packaged and fresh and everything. But tourniquet, I would carry at least one, preferably 2 tourniquets in your kit. And that is a very, very important thing because if someone has limb damage that is bleeding excessively, you're going to want a tourniquet to, this could definitely save your life or someone else's life. These are good to carry. And this, the whole emergency kit started out for me because I used to also do firearms training, and you always wanted a kit like this with you at the range, just in case. So that's in there. I don't remember what these were.
They're bandages.
Oh, more bandages, yeah.
Bandages.
So that's the basics that's carried in here. She did throw in, I don't know why, but some Rolaids.
Well, just simply because, the kit comes with some Tylenol. I guess that's really the only type of emergency item. Some Tylenol. And so I purchased some individual packets of different, I think, Imodium and just different things because just even traveling or visiting with somebody, if you're going, sometimes you're traveling out of your environment and eating foods that you're not used to. There's just different things, so not just for emergencies, but different things that you might want to have handy with you.
Yeah, if you're on a trip. So the basically emergency medical type kit, first aid kit, to me is definitely something that you really want to carry in your vehicle year round, just in case. Yourself, like you said, family members, or you run across someone in a bad accident on the road, maybe you can help. So that I would definitely try to carry. Now this gets into a little bit more that you again may not have room for, but we have this nice case that we carry. And we'll open it up, and again, let Carol tell you about a few of the things that are in here. And again, some of this is related to the winter stuff. If you got stuck on the side of the road, or again, you run across someone in an accident.
My kid's got a spare winter coat.
Spare winter coat.
In case something happens, maybe you're planning a short trip and something happens and you don't have your coat with you.
Right.
So this is a spare coat.
Yeah, if you end up down in the ditch in the middle of the winter and you didn't have a coat with you, you might need that. Or again,
or somebody's traveling with you and they didn't have a coat or dressed warm enough. Or and same token with just a spare blanket.
Spare blanket. Now we keep another blanket in here
and definitely also. A wool blanket.
Yeah.
This is this is only 55% wool, and I think we bought one for years, it's 80% wool.
Yeah.
But the more wool, the better, just simply because of the warmth.
Again, keep somebody warm. If someone's in an accident, pull down, in the ditch on the highway until you can get emergency help there. You may need to pull this out and try to keep somebody warm. Again, now some of the items we've got in here, again, we'll get into a little bit more than what you might carry. This is more like if we were on a trip or anything. We do keep a little stainless steel mess kit in here with a frying pan and so forth. Again, that's not so much for the emergency.
You never know when you're going to get hungry.
You never know. And in here, again, she's got more Band-Aids. You never know, again, bad wreck or something, you never can have enough Band-Aids or bandages. Again, this is part of our, if you're really stuck out somewhere on a trip, we've got a crank-up weather radio, or emergency radio. And you can have that with you. So, what else you got in here, Carol?
Well, here's our second tourniquet.
Yep, another tourniquet. And this is, extra gloves, pair of gloves.
Those are really thick ones.
Yeah, just in case. And then some people you've heard people talk about bug out bags, or sometimes it's called a get home bag. We've kind of combined all this, and this is your typical bug out bag here. It's got a little bit of everything in it for an emergency. Water, we've got some beef jerky in here. Now you do need to switch that out like once a year or something like that, because stuff does go bad.
Again, just considering if you have something little for a snack, some sort of protein in case something transpires.
And in case you run
stuck out longer than you expect to be for whatever
In case you run into Indiana Jones, we've got a nice knife. But in all reality, this could come in handy. If someone's trapped in a car and you've got to, cut the seatbelt or something, you need a nice knife.
Yeah,
So,
I think we might have some rain gear.
yeah, some rain gear and stuff. We don't need to go into the whole
Right.
bag. We actually have a small tarp in case you had to lay that out for some reason. Water. Again, some of this is maybe in your mind overkill, but if you've got the space to carry it, great. And then one more box in here that you've got that has, again, this is kind of one of those, you're not going to run into this too much, but if you were on a trip or something and you got stuck, especially if you were out, in a desert area or something, you visiting Las Vegas or somewhere, Arizona, and you're out in the desert or wherever, and you got stuck. This is definitely extra stuff. You got some water filtration here in case you had to, dig out some water out of a lake or a pond or something. You've got some wound wash again. An extra knife and so forth. We've got some spare batteries in here for the radio, fire sticks, some bug spray, and waterproof matches. So again, some of this stuff, you may or may not really actually need, but it doesn't hurt to carry it if you've got the space. So there you go. In general, this gives you an idea of stuff that you could carry in your vehicle, against based on how much you want to carry or how much room you've got. So just again, thanks to Carol for coming out here in the garage and helping show off what she carries in her truck. You got anything else?
No, I do not.
All right, gang, there you have it. Hopefully this is some helpful information for you. Because some people I know that they may never have thought about this type of stuff. I've got some other friends that probably maybe even more overkill than we are. All right. Jeff Black, your BFP Dream Builder, out here with Mrs. Dream Builder, a.k.a. my wife Carol, saying bye-bye.
Bye-bye.